Hey YouTube, this is Wrestling Amusement Park Fan 62. Now, WrestleMania YouTube channel did an interesting video about did WWE sell its soul to TKO? And in it, they talked about all these different things, like all the sponsorships and all of that. So I want to give my opinion about all of this, and then all the different stuff that kind of makes it look like TKO is not what we think it is. So let's get started. Now, first thing I want to talk about is the presentation. So the thing with up to WWE getting sold to TKO, they had this big Tron with a good size everything. But then when TKO took over, it really wasn't until they started packing all of these stadiums and arenas where TKO was like, maybe we should go with smaller sets. So the Raw after WrestleMania was the first, or no, not Raw. The SmackDown before WrestleMania 40 was when the first time we saw this. So this is where we saw essentially kind of like what they use for stuff like the Royal Rumble or something in that ballpark. And while it's okay, the thing is it doesn't give the presentation what we're used to, because we're used to having the big Tron and it says whoever, and then strobe lights and all this other stuff, which they still do have strobe lights and all this other stuff mixed in. It's just it's now on a smaller stage. And the other problem is, especially for certain video packages and such, they'll have where they'll look at this itty bitty screen, or the fans will look at essentially the thing hanging from the ceiling. And it does not look as good as just looking at essentially the big Tron. And the next one are all the sponsorships. I understand WWE is a business, so sponsorships is one of the big ways they bring in a lot of money. The problem is look at something like WrestleMania or the Raw after Mania or something like that. There was a humongous number of sponsorships on that. Then you have stuff like, oh, this match brought to you by Minute Maid, or this match brought to you by Dude Wipes, or something like that. And it makes you go, is this a wrestling show or wrestling with sponsorships? And it seems like at least 50% of each show is them trying to sell you something. So you have stuff like Minute Maid, or Slim Jim, or a tax service, or whatever. And it makes you go, okay, why? So over the past several months, the WWE canvases for Raw and SmackDown especially have been changing slightly. So they would so sometimes they would have this one-off sponsorship. Then they would have sometimes where it's there for several episodes or whatever. And it makes you kind of go, okay, what is going on here? So they had one for Angry Orchard cider. Then they sometimes would have just the WWE logo. And then all around it, they would have these sponsorships for Snickers and Netflix and all this other stuff. And it's one of those things where essentially they're trying to cram as much stuff as they can for you to buy or consider buying in a small 20 by 20 space. Or for Raw especially, on the LED boards going around the arenas, it says Raw on Netflix brought to you by Snickers or something like that. And it makes you go, okay, what is going on here? So it's one of those things that makes you go in the long run, okay, what is going on here? And now, music. Where do we begin with this? It was reported that late 2024 or early 2025, Def Rebel was supposed to be canned, and they would bring in sort of like a new in-house music person. If you have listened to some of the recent themes that have come out, you would know what in the world are these people doing. Selena Vega's theme, for example, sounds like two different songs mixed together. So you have, excuse the language I'm going to use in this one, Nicki Minaj's Stupid Hoe mixed with Megan Thee Stallion's whatever the SmackDown theme is called. And so when Selena Vega sings hard, you hear whoop, 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 or something like that. And I'm like, okay. Then you have the luchador, that new Americana luchador. His sounds just like something similar to like typical music you'll hear in like a Mexican restaurant. But then you'll also have stuff where you'll have somebody like Chelsea Green, who has the same song, but her intro gets changed constantly. So first you had where you had somebody saying it's Chelsea Green two different times. So you had former Raw announcer Samantha Irving say it, and then once she left, within a couple of months, it got changed again to somebody else saying, it's Chelsea Green. And now with her having this like presidential type gimmick, it now says like pledge your allegiance to Chelsea Green or something in that ballpark. And while that's okay because it fits her, essentially, I just don't like how they're going at it. Because my thing is this. If this company has enough money to get third-party themes for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, I don't understand why they can't team up with Universal Studio or Universal Music, Sony Music, or whatever, and have some sort of working agreement where, you know, certain people can have third-party themes. So if someone like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, can have a third-party theme, I don't know why other stars can't. Because before anybody knows who this person is, the theme is what they hear. But then for the past couple of Royal Rumbles, when the Superstars theme plays, unless it's somebody like a CM Punk or a Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes or something in that ballpark, most people are going to be like, who is this person? The only reason why somebody like Alexa Bliss gets the reaction she got at the Royal Rumble was because that was a theme a lot of people were used to back during the Thunderdome era. The other problem with Def Rebel has been they'll take a song and then they'll remix it, and then they'll remix it, then they'll remix it. With Alexa Bliss, for example, since she has turned to the dark side, she has had several themes that almost sound similar, except one. So when she came from the goddess, she went to a theme called Fury, the Fury, which sounds a lot similar to Spiteful, with some slight adjustments mixed in. Great. That I can accept that. But then as it started rolling along, so then they went to this theme called The Evil Is Mine, where it's just Alexa going, "The evil is mine," and saying a bunch of stuff along with some rap mixed in. So then you had that mixing along, and then when she came back, before she left again, she had Fight Me. So about several months before she left for the 2023 Rumble, Fight Me got remixed. So it basically was like a techno beat with parts of the Fight Me song. This is what I mean. They will take a song and then they'll remix it, but a lot of the other songs they'll produce just sound like they grabbed something out of the free music section on YouTube or any of those music type sites. They'll adjust it slightly and then release it. This is what I mean, is stuff like that, and WWE is okay with this. That is the problem that upsets me about it, is because they're trying to be cheap with this instead of finding a solution, because a lot of people, fans, wrestling critics, have basically told WWE, this sucks. You need to change it. I get, there's probably a certain budget they have to deal with for that sort of thing. But if they would team up with a Universal Music, a Sony, or something like that, they could work something out. Instead of, being like, just buying these things, using them for about a year or two, and then going on to something else. So that has been some of the main things of TKO with WWE. And it's sad, and I hope something can get fixed, or otherwise there is going to be another problem. Now, the last thing I would like to mention before I end this video has been tickets. Before TKO took over, WWE tickets were right in the middle. So they weren't exactly very expensive, but they weren't very cheap. So depending on where you were, the tickets would vary in price. But now, with TKO taking over, tickets have, gone up. Because, for example, for SummerSlam in New York, they have a 2-day package where for one ticket, ringside is like $40,000. There's not a lot of people out there who can afford that unless you're a multimillionaire or a company who wants to treat several people, and they could work with them on that sort of thing. So this is the sort of thing I'm talking about, is they're catering toward the rich instead of the people who have stuck with WWE through, the stuff like the NXT 2.0 era, or the stuff like the dog food match, or anything like that. This is what I'm saying. They need to kind of figure this out fast.